Today I want to share with you my experience about the mindset and how one must think in order to become successful. And by success I mean every type of success in your life. Most people think success is working hard or work smart, and in reality that's actually not what happened or what changed for my life. I used to think if I just stay consistent, stay disciplined, things would work out eventually. But nothing really changed. Same effort, same results. The moment things changed was when I realized it's not about how you do, it's about how you think. And when it comes down to thinking and mindset, I would like to start with different type of mind. We have conscious mind and unconscious mind. Conscious mind is what you actually do. For example, you make a decision to brush your teeth, or you make a decision to eat food, or you make a decision to go take a walk. And there is logic behind it. So you think about it and you take action towards it. But unconscious mind, on the other side, there is no logic behind it. So in an essence, you don't have any control over it. Unconscious mind doesn't have any logic. It believes what you say or what you feed to it. Say for example, if you say that I am successful, I am happy, I am beautiful, I am strong, your unconscious mind believes this because it doesn't have any logic. On the contrary, if you say, I am weak, I am not healthy, I am not wealthy, unconscious mind believes that because unconscious mind doesn't have the logic, doesn't have the capacity to analyze things. So now we all know that if we just say, for example, I am rich, I am healthy, I am this and that, it just doesn't work like that. It just doesn't change. If you say every day I'm rich, is good, but eventually it doesn't change your life. So you need to take some actions for that to happen. So for this, I personally learned to have a ritual. Say for example, one of the things I learned was the power of visualization. Once I was watching Lando Norris, Formula One driver, and I was watching how his training looks like and on the YouTube channel. And one of the things I learned from it was the power of visualization. So what he was doing at that moment was laying down on a bed and visualize the journey or the trip inside the track. And this was very, very critical because he was imagining the situation, different corners, different places he has to accelerate or decelerate, or where to stop, where to slow down, where to increase the speed. And on that moment, a lot of people think that maybe he's taking a nap, maybe he's resting, but in reality that's not true. He is visualizing the future that hasn't happened yet. One of the mental strength that every one of us has is the visualization. Sometimes we call it we're dreaming. So, for example, for me, in order to force myself to become successful, one of the techniques I use every day before I go to sleep is to visualize my future. I visualize what my future looks like in my brain. Sometimes I just lay down, play nice music, or in complete silence, and I dream about my future, what I want in this life, how I want my future to look like. And I only visualize what I want, not what I don't want. Say for example, if I would like to have a lot of money, say for example, if I want to learn a specific language, or if I want to learn a specific skill set, I visualize that in my mind. So I go through a journey in my mind to understand what I want in my future life, although it doesn't exist yet. It doesn't reflect in my reality at this moment, but I'm preparing my unconscious mind for this to happen. Another ritual that I personally use is when I wake up in the morning. I repeat a set of sentences. For example, I'm happy, I am healthy, I am wealthy. Money comes to me naturally, abundantly, and freely. I am a money magnet. Some sort of sentences that I want to feed my unconscious mind to believe that is going to happen. That I want my unconscious mind to be trained for what's coming. And this type of ritual helps you, or helps your mentality to be prepared for what's about to come. If you think about the positive things can come. If you think about the negative things can come. That's why a lot of people I see sometimes, for example, they are very humble. And when they're speaking to their friends, they say, oh no, I'm not that beautiful, or I'm not that rich, etc., etc. Your unconscious mind believes that. Although you don't mean it, although you might be just very humble, although you may be making a joke. But your unconscious mind doesn't have logic. Your unconscious mind doesn't understand that you're not serious about it. That's why it takes everything you say so serious. So one of the things that basically changes the mindset is the words that you use. You can use this technique, these rituals that I explained before going to sleep, when you wake up, to train your mind. The same way when you go to gym, you train your muscles to grow. You want to become healthier, more fit, and have lifestyle that you always wanted, right? So you go, you lift weight. Why? Because you're training your muscles. The same way you need to train your mind. A lot of times we know how to train our, let's say, physically our muscles, but we don't know how to train our mind. So another technique that I would like to share is, imagine, for example, you go brush your teeth with your right hand all the time. One time try to brush your hand with your left hand. So when you brush your teeth with your left hand, you shock your brain. Now your brain is in a state that is uncomfortable and it's not used to it. So now your brain needs to operate in a different angle to be able to handle brushing your teeth with your left hand. Now you might ask, okay, how does this make me successful? So think about it as different loops of a chain. So every loop is connected to each other, and one loop leads to another. One training for your brain can lead to another preparation of your mind. So I will explain this a little bit later as well, maybe in other videos. One simple change, say for example, brushing your teeth with your opposite hand, can help you make better decisions in future. Why? When you are in a situation that's unexpected and now you need to think out of the box, that's where your mind is ready. That's where you can think in a different angle that you were not used to before. So you need to train your mind the same way you train your muscles, because brain is also a type of muscle. So in my opinion, any person who wants to be successful, the golden key is, number one, the mentality, the way you think, the way you see, and more importantly, experience and patience. So say for example, you want to run a business and you want to be successful in your business. You might not be able to be successful up front in the first day or years. You need to gain experience. You need to become very patient. In my opinion, if a person has patience and experience, that person is able to do anything in this life. So all you need to do is to be patient and gain experience and knowledge. gaining experience is not smooth and not easy path. There are many obstacles. There are many problems that appear in your way, and you need to fight your way through. Every successful person that at least I know have been through this journey. The reason for that is because the God or the universe must prepare you. You must allow yourself to experience things to become the person who has the privilege of becoming successful. Now, what do I mean by privilege? Think about it. Anyone can say, I'm an astronaut, for example. But that's not true, right? You can only say I'm an astronaut if you actually go to space. So it is not about you need to prove or who you are or ask for validation from anyone. It's about having the privilege to be able to have that success, or to be able to say that, for example, you are an astronaut. So when you have the privilege of having or being able to do something or saying things, then you can say, or you can have the possibility to achieve what you already talk about. For example, let me explain another example. For instance, a lot of people say, okay, for instance, having a supercar is useless. It's just a toy, there is no practicality, etc. So if you already own a supercar and you have the experience and you understood, okay, this doesn't give you the value that you were looking for, it's actually useless, then you have the privilege to say, okay, that's a useless item. But if you haven't had the supercar yet, and you have no experience how that feels, how that works for you, or what values that thing brings for you, you are not able to say that, okay, this is a useless thing. So I mentioned in my other videos, when you come to this world, you come at a certain time and you leave at a certain time. Anything in the middle is you and your experiences. Nothing else, nobody else matters at that point. So you need to understand what actually gives you value in your life. So if that item gives you value, then it's useful for you. If that thing doesn't give any value for you, then it's not useful for you. Now, in this period of life, you have nothing to prove to anyone. You have no reason to validate with anyone your skills, your ability. Of course, you can say many things, whatever you can or whatever you can't, but remember, having the privilege is the most important thing. Now, remember, when you're on your path to success, the universe starts to break you. It tries to hammer you down to your knees until there's nothing left out of it. At least that's the experience I got. It humbles you, it carves you for success. Because until you're not that person, until you're not the person who has the privilege to be successful, you won't be able to make it. The universe tries to teach you and form you to that person who has the privilege to become successful. It tests you over and over and over again until you are fully the person who has the privilege to be successful. That's why being successful is not easy, right? You need to put in hard work. You need to have discipline. You have to be stoic, no emotions. Sometimes you have to think and control your emotions and be more logical to be able to proceed to your basically milestone. And we are 8 billion people on this planet, and only 1% of this 8 billion people are on top. Of course, it's difficult. A lot of people quit when it becomes difficult, when it becomes rough. No one wants to go through, trials over and over again. And that's where the mindset kicks in. That's where it matters how you think and what makes the difference between you and others, right? So the amount of success that you can gain has direct correlation with the amount of stress you can handle. It has a direct correlation with the amount of pressure you can handle. It has a direct correlation with the amount of pain that you can go through, that you can suffer and you can deal with. It's the same when you go to the gym, right? You go there, you basically tore apart the muscles to let them grow. You go through pain, a pain that you resist to push yourself forward to become successful. That's why, in my opinion, mindset is everything. It's the only thing that separates you and the rest of the people. And of course, everybody has their own unique journey. So my journey is different from yours is different from the others. For some people, it might seem easier. For some people, it might seem more difficult. I believe there is no easier or more difficult. It's all about your journey. Your journey is unique. What you're going through is what you are going through and no one else. So that's the most important thing as well, to realize this, to accept this, and to admit that you're on your path and you cannot compare yourself with others, because the moment you compare yourself with others, you start to look people who are ahead of you, usually people who are more successful than you, and you might feel like maybe you are behind. But I would say the only thing, or the only person you have to compare yourself is yesterday of yourself. So try to compare yourself with yourself from yesterday. Have you improved? Have you learned your lesson? Did you get any more experience? Did you understand that you made a mistake? What is your opinion about that? How are you going to solve that mistake? How are you going to avoid that mistake? So you need to constantly compare yourself with yourself alone and nobody else and nothing else, because you are on your journey and you're alone on your journey. Not even closest people to you have direct impact on your journey. Every single one of us are on our own journey. So at that point, for me, for example, when I was at the bottom, I was thinking, okay, being broke is difficult. Being successful is also difficult. So which difficult would I like to choose here? And for me, it was important to become successful in my life, to be the person who I want to be. And then I asked myself, am I ready to sacrifice? Am I ready to take the leap of faith and step to the unknown and take the impossible tasks? Am I able to do this for myself, for my loved ones, for my future? Am I able to do this? Or I would just settle in my comfort zone. And for me, I'm an ambitious person and I have goals. I'm a goal-driven person. I would like to achieve things in my life. So that's why I didn't settle for comfort. That's why I put myself in challenging situations sometimes to grow, to achieve the goals that I have, to become the person who I want to become. And I learned, when you want to become successful, you don't need motivation anymore. You don't need any external factors to push you forward. Of course, you need to be disciplined. Of course, you need to be strong. But most importantly, you need to build a system. You need to build a system that pushes you forward every single day, every single time. When you design and develop this system, you are working in a harmony. And what type of system I mean is, let's say like this: the first element, or the most important component of this system is your mindset. The mindset towards success. The mindset that you want to become who you want to become. As I mentioned, you can start training your mind towards your success. So to force yourself to become successful. And as I said, those techniques about the rituals that I take, for example, and how to train my mind to think different, how to trick my mind to consider angles that it hasn't considered before. The other thing that I believe is important to consider is that when you're on your path to success, as I said, you have to be very patient. You have to be patient with yourself. You're gonna make a lot of mistakes. Most importantly is to understand what mistake you made and why did you make the mistake, and how you're gonna solve that and how you're going to avoid that. The other thing that you need to consider is you need to think long term, not short term. You need to think about years ahead. Once that clicks, everything starts moving differently. Everything starts to reflect differently. You know, they say success is a reflection of your mind. The moment that clicks, your reality reflects your mindset. The positive mindset you have, your reality will start reflecting that. So a lot of people are impatient. Say for example, let's say you practice this, okay, I'm rich, I'm healthy, I'm good, I'm wealthy, I am money magnet, etc. People want this to happen immediately. It doesn't. Two factors, which is very important. Number one, time. Time is very important. What do I mean? If you start doing this, you need to prepare yourself for a long period that nothing is going to happen. Things are going to start to happen after a period of time. Things takes time. When you want to grow your muscle in the gym, it doesn't happen after a month. It's going to take years to become, let's say, or to have the shape that you're looking for, right? It's the same. It's going to take you time. Factor number two, location or situation. When I say location or situation, it can be a physical location, it can be a mental situation. Say for example, you want to have a nice food. You need to go to a very nice restaurant, right? So there is a location for that. You need to change some locations. Now, it can be mental location, it can be a physical location, depending on what you're after. So patience and experience, that's what is going to get you towards the goals that you have. And you must be consistent. You must show up. You should not give up, no matter how hard it gets. No matter how hard it gets, you need to look for mastery. You need to master the skills that, for example, if you want to be successful in your business, you have to master that skill set. If you want to be a CEO or if you want to be a CTO, it depends on what kind of things you want to do, right? So everything are different loops of a chain connected to each other. You change one thing, it changes many other things. You change your mindset, it changes your reality. So the first extremely important component for success is mindset. And that's what I wanted to talk about in this video. And I hope you learned something new.